Hi, so this one we're going to look at the next section of mechanics in the game. These pendulums are basically the ones from the tutorial. There's nothing special going on here really. So I'm going to skip this because the only thing I've changed is how the player takes damage, which is just a little box surround. Actually, no, I think it's linked to the static mesh. So yeah, I'm just going to skip past these bits. So this section, it's not really a puzzle mechanic, and it doesn't really do anything for the play except kind of it's a lighting system. So there's these podiums here, here and here. There's a collision box in the middle. When the player overlaps the collision, it will then set the particle system and light system. You'll set the particle system on and the light on, and it's light visible. So as we walk through here, as you can see, it'll just switch the light, it'll just switch the fire on, which does look pretty cool, especially when you turn around. That's so cool. So this is the next puzzle. This is the next mechanic. This one did take quite a long time to fix. So I managed to get the movers working pretty easily. So basically that all it is the vector loop. So as you overlap the collision box for this, when the player pushes into it, it'll set the timeline, and then you'll be able to push it into place. Now, what we had to do then, we had to make a boolean. We had to turn this into a variable, into this particle system, because this particle system is its own blueprint. So the mover and the light are two separate blueprints. So this one literally just deals with moving from there to there. This is set up as, oh no, sorry, there's a variable in the mover, which is the brazier, which is an object reference to this. So then this basically is a target. So you attach these two together using the variable, which then tells the mover, oh, I need to move to this specific light. They then set in positions in the puzzle manager. So this is position 1, this is position 2, that's position 3, and that's position 4. In the puzzle manager, when you move it in, it will check is light 0 on first. Is light 0 on first? If it is, it will stay on. If it's not, it will reset the mover. I'll just do it here because this is light 3. And obviously in the sequence, because it will go down in a sequence, so you can't just do is like, yeah, so it has to check with the sequence. So in sequence 0, is that on? Yes. If this is switched on before 0, this will reset, but I'm not going to do that because that will stay, because that one's 0 and that will stay. So if I do it to this one, to 4, because obviously that's position 4, not the next one in line, which is that one, so that will reset. That's just resetting the timeline. So once these are in place, so that one's in there, that one there, that one there, it will then call the it will then have an object reference to this door, and then the door again is another vector loop, and you'll just move basically down there and open the door. And the next section of the map is this section here. So this one's actually quite interesting. So in the tutorials from the fire, where they did area damage, so this one's kind of supposed to represent kind of like heat damage. So as you go into this room, there would be a collision box which you'd go into, and if player is in collision box, you'd apply, I think it's 1 damage every 5 seconds, I believe. And yeah, originally this section wasn't here. What was going to be, it was going to be stations on the lava, and you'd have to get to it using these platforms, and then on each station you get when you move the brazier into place, you'll get a health and a fireproof. So it means when you've overlapped it for 5 seconds, you wouldn't take damage from the heat overlap, the heat collision box. So that's that mechanic. I took that out simply because that area was just too big. it just took too much space just for these podium puzzle, so I added this section in instead. So these these platforms took a long time to do. So as you interact with them, they will just rotate 90 degrees. The hard part was setting the world location. So we had to set world location, and we then had to break rotator, and then minus on, I believe it's the y-axis, I think it's the x-axis, and then minus 90 or plus 90 on the x-axis. We made that variable visible in game, so we could change it depending on which side of the room this is. Because obviously, if it's on that side, minus row 90 will make it go the other way. If it's on this side, it'll be the wrong way. So we made it visible, that variable visible, so we can change it in editor. We made rod. We broke the rotator, the axis rotator. We then minused their float value by however much we wanted. We then made rotator, plugged that into the lerp, new current, so the world's rotator position. That was put into the A, and then that was put into the timeline, and then set actor rotation. So that was how that was done. And then we just line them up, and then you can use your double jump. Oh, this is the other one in effect. So that was just a quick showing you, and you do take damage as well. So let's get up here. Once you get up here, I'm gonna go. Yeah, so once you get up there, you do stop, and then I'll show you the last bit of mechanics. I'll go through health and stamina, and